Do whatever.
Started, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now I'm putting the finishing touches on the small piece that I'm working on, which is Morgan. It's very tiny, it's not really the normal size that I work at. It's really interesting to paint at this size. So right now I'm putting in 2 arrows at the bottom that one of the crows is holding. And then I'll be adding in some glazing just to add in a little bit of red to the background just to make the crows pop, to sort of differentiate the black from the crows and the black of the India ink that I used in the background. Now the way that I work is I come up with a concept, I then sketch it out as loosely as possible just to basically get down the composition, where I want things to be, how I want the poses of the figures in the piece to be, and then I either shoot reference or see what I can find that is already existing. Sometimes it's really hard to find access to certain things like crows in flight. Now, then after I get all of my reference together, I then work on the final sketch and make any amendments to the composition that I see are necessary to make the piece work, to make the colors work. And then I transfer that onto a board. Either I print it out on paper and mount the enlarged drawing onto it, or if I already pre-gessoed the board, I just do a carbon transfer and just do it that way. Very easy. At that point, I then establish values using acrylic, primarily burnt umber. Kind of gives a nice warmth to whatever you're painting and also helps facilitate with the skin tone, so you don't really have to worry too much about getting it perfect, at least in the first passing of oil painting, which is the next step. So I primarily use oils and acrylics. There's certain things about each medium that I like, that I can do with, that I can't do with the other one, and vice versa. I primarily render with the oils, and I do kind of experimental stuff with the acrylics, usually in the background, like splatters and any other things that would just be better to have dry really fast. And with this piece in particular, I actually experimented a bit with India ink as a wash for the background. I think it turned out pretty cool. I would definitely do it again. However, what I learned, thankfully in the early stages of this piece, was that you need to definitely, after you use the India ink, is to either spray fix it and put a coat of like matte medium over it, because otherwise it drags around and it can just make everything look really muddy, and you'll lose a lot of the nice detail that you get with the ink washes. what I'm doing now is doing just the little bit of glazing that I talked about earlier, just with some cadmium red and some liquid. It's a little too opaque for my taste right now. So I'm just going to wipe away that a little bit just so I just get a subtle hint of the color. A little bit more over here towards the bottom. And there you have it. I think I'm done. Do a final check, and once everything dries I'll varnish it, frame it, and be good to go. How do I stop the record?
There's a red button.
Yeah,